Hey everyone, welcome to Area 616. So, last Friday, Fox held a shareholders meeting to vote on whether or not to let the Disney-Fox deal go through, and they voted yes. This is a really big deal as it was the last major thing in the way of the merger being finished. Of course, it's not completely over just yet, they still need approval internationally, and they still have some small details to work out, so it won't be completely done until 2019, probably around the summer. So this means that, looking beyond the slightly terrifying realities of Disney now having control over the majority of movies coming out, the X-Men and Fantastic Four are indeed coming to the MCU within the next couple of years. For Marvel fans, this is very exciting. It's something we've been waiting for years. So today, in honor of all this, I just wanted to talk a bit about what we can expect to happen next with all of this. Specifically what's in store for Fox's upcoming Marvel films and for Marvel Studios as well. Now, with Fox, there have been a lot of rumors going out that X-Men Dark Phoenix and New Mutants, both scheduled to come out on February 14th and August 9th next year respectively, are being straight up cancelled due to Disney wanting a clean slate, and also reports that both movies are just giant messes that are pretty much beyond saving. Honestly, it's not hard to believe the latter part, as they've both been going through massive reshoots and have both been delayed, twice in New Mutants' case. However, we now know that, at least as of right now, these rumors are false. IMAX has confirmed that both movies are still scheduled to release next year, but this could still change. I doubt X-Men Dark Phoenix is going anywhere just because it's much sooner than New Mutants, and it served as a better goodbye to the franchise as we know it. However, I would not be surprised at all if the New Mutants just gets axed. By the time it's ready to hit theaters, the deal will be done, and it's likely that audiences just won't care to watch New Mutants, as it's the last film of a dead franchise. Couple that with the previously mentioned poor first impressions and multiple reshoots, and I'm fully expecting New Mutants to just be cancelled in the end. Either that or maybe it gets released on Hulu or something like that. Fox is being weirdly quiet about Dark Phoenix. The lack of trailers is a little strange, especially for something with as big a budget as this. Admittedly, big movies like this usually release trailers 6 months ahead, which lines up with this coming month, August. But if you compare it to the New Mutants' original release date of April 13th of this year, Fox released a trailer for that last September before delaying the movie, almost 8 months ahead. So it shows that they're at least being pretty hush-hush about it. The next big question mark in Fox's lineup is also easily their most anticipated future Marvel project, XForce, starring Deadpool, Cable, and Domino. We have not yet gotten any information on just what is going to happen to that movie, so as far as we know, things are continuing as normal. If Disney's smart, they'll let the Deadpool movies move forward as if nothing's happened. I've seen a lot of people say they'd like to see the Deadpool movies exist in a pocket universe with no rules, that can include any locations and characters from the MCU but doesn't have to abide by their continuity. And I really like the sound of that. It would allow Deadpool to still tell the story he's been telling, but also allow it to take advantage of the MCU setting. Now, as for Fox's numerous solo movies, I wouldn't expect them to stick around at all. Fox lately has been lining up a lot of solo Marvel movies so far. They've announced Doctor Doom, Gambit, X-23, Silver Surfer, Franklin and Valeria Richards, Kitty Pryde, Multiple Man, and Storm. Some of these, like Doctor Doom, X-23, and Silver Surfer, sound pretty cool, but the rest just sound kind of unnecessary. Except perhaps James Franco's Multiple Man, which should absolutely be turned into an FX dramedy series. I mean, come on, that'd be perfect. So, yeah, we might see some of these transitioned into the MCU. I think a Doctor Doom movie would be a great way to immediately set him apart from the rest of Marvel's rogues gallery, and I'd love to see a Silver Surfer movie at some point in the future, but these are far down the road. As far as when we can expect to see any of Fox's characters introduced, I wouldn't hold your breath. There are a lot of fans that are expecting someone like Reed Richards or Galactus in Avengers 4, either in the story itself or the post-credit scene, but that's highly doubtful. Assuming that the deal is somehow finished before next summer, which is unlikely, remember that Avengers 4 is now set for April 2019, not May. So even if they finished in, say, January, that would give them roughly 2 months to toss something together. And you might say that they shot it beforehand just in case, but I don't think that's possible, as I'm pretty sure that would technically be illegal if the deal isn't finished. I hate to say it, I'd love to see that happen, but I'm very doubtful we'll get anything in Avengers 4. In fact, the soonest I see anything of note happening is 2021, maybe 2020 if we're really lucky. I'd personally like to see a lot of the characters and locations introduced slowly and naturally in other movies. For example, Black Panther 2 is likely going to hit in February 2021. I'd love to see Storm introduced in that movie, establishing her connection to Wakanda. Perhaps we could meet Kitty Pryde in a future Spider-Man movie. A lot of rumors say that the Eternals movie could hold the answers for how the mutants exist in the MCU, so I imagine that's probably the case. It would really make sense. A rumor is that the mutant origins are being changed to where they're basically experiments done on early humans by Celestials, which could be pretty interesting. As for the Fantastic Four, I think we could see them introduced much quicker. They're a lot easier to bring into the MCU than the X-Men are, and they'd fit in well with its current state. We might see or hear of Silver Surfer, Annihilus, or Galactus, or someone like that in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but I imagine our first dose of the Fantastic Four will be in their own movie, which I think will probably come out in 2022 at the earliest. The X-Men, however, I wouldn't expect until after 2023, which is a good thing, really. The X-Men franchise has been running for 18 years now and is technically still going, so it'd be a good idea on Marvel's part to let the memory of that fade a bit from audiences' minds, and slowly build intrigue for the characters again. Perhaps we could see them make their first major appearance in Avengers 5. Maybe that could be an Avengers vs. X-Men movie. Except, if I were them, I'd change it so that instead of the Phoenix Force, it's about Onslaught or perhaps Scarlet Witch. Or, heck, maybe both. Now there is one more question this brings up. What about Marvel Television? Can we expect to see any changes there? The answer is yes, but probably not anything too major for a while. I imagine we'll start to see more X-Men TV shows in the future. I'd personally love to see Dazzler, Longshot, Multiple Man, and, assuming the movie gets cancelled, the New Mutants all get shows. And part of the Disney Fox deal includes a larger share of Hulu, so I imagine we could see a larger presence from Marvel on that with a new TV series. When the X-Men and Fantastic Four do arrive in the MCU full force, I wouldn't be surprised if they up the number of movies released every year. Probably just one more per year. But if they want to bring in all of these new characters along with maintaining the old ones, they really have no choice but to do that. Otherwise, they'll have to just drop some previous characters. There's also the question of R-rated movies. Bob Iger, Disney's CEO, said not too long ago that producing R-rated films was not out of the question for Disney should the deal go through. So it's possible we could see the MCU get some R-rated films in the future, perhaps ones about Blade or Wolverine, along with Deadpool, of course. They might also choose to release their more R-rated stuff on streaming services, most likely on Hulu, as Disney wants to keep their own streaming service family-friendly, and they want to keep their stuff on services that they own, which leaves Netflix out of it. Or, even better, maybe Disney could set up a new Marvel streaming service like DC Universe and release the R-rated movies on that. That'd be really, really cool, actually. If they do start making R-rated movies, one smaller change I think we could expect is some of the content restrictions being lifted from Marvel Television. For example, Jessica Jones might finally be able to drop some F-bombs like she's so famous for in the comics. She was actually the first character in a Marvel comic to ever drop the F-bomb, so it'd be kind of poetic if she was the first in the MCU too, wouldn't it? Who knows, maybe we'll hear the dreaded word in Jessica Jones Season 3, which is due next summer, so it would kind of line up. But in any event, with all of that said, you're probably wondering, when will we know what's coming up for sure? Obviously, it's difficult to say exactly when, but I would expect the deal's completion to be announced around next May or so, and I would not at all be surprised if Marvel Studios held a huge Hall H panel at next year's San Diego Comic-Con to announce the lineup for Phase 4 and to reveal some of their plans for Fox's characters. But yeah, these are just some of the things we can expect to see moving forward with this deal. It's been quite a ride, and while it's always important to remember that this is literally the worst way this could have happened, it is cool to know that these amazing characters are finally back where they belong. I mean, if Universal sells Namor back to Marvel and Sony stops being so stubborn with Venom, the entire MCU would finally be united. But if you want to know more about why exactly this whole Disney-Fox deal isn't that great, I'd recommend doing some research on it. I'm hoping Disney doesn't start choking out some of Fox's more creative productions, such as Fox Searchlight stuff, but it's entirely possible they might. But with all that said, I'd love to know what you guys think. What would you guys like to see in the MCU following this? Where and how do you think Marvel could slowly introduce the X-Men and Fantastic Four over the coming years? And what do you think of the theory that the Celestials are tied to the Mutants' origins in the MCU? I'd love to hear all of your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.